It was in the first Lethal stream too. Yeah, it was just lame. Anyway, let's talk about Palworld. Let's do it. Oh, what the hell?
So, in case this goes viral or whatever, and people see this video, if you don't know who I am, I'm Mort.
Hello.
I'm a game designer. I've been a game designer for 19 years, 11 and a half at Nintendo, 7 and a half at Riot. So I've been doing this a while, and I've seen a lot of discourse online about Palworld and like what it means, and people being like, "Oh my God, AI and whatever," and freaking out. It's been pretty bad. AI! And what's really disappointing is just how much misinformation is out there. I'm also I love misinformation. I'm tired of the
chat. I love spreading misinformation.
News cycle that is. I saw this trending tweet. Let me go make a YouTube video about it. Even though the trending tweet came from somebody who has no idea what they're talking about. And then that gets perpetuated. And it's just really disappointing.
There was a guy, keep in mind, chat, there was a guy who made up a bunch of shit about how Palworld was made of the AI. And then they said, yeah, I was lying.
And so I wanted to take a second to talk about Palworld and what it means for the game industry and its success and things like that. And, you know, maybe some ways you might consider feeling and things like that. So to start off with, one of the things you have to do is, you know, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. And I know I'm old, I'm 40, I'm gray-haired, whatever. But
yeah, but you're not balding, sir, so you got points in that regard. Yeah, you're not balding. You have a nice, strong hairline. You're winning.
A lot of people maybe are younger, and maybe this is their first dive into it. So let's talk about making a video game, right? Let's say it's the year, I don't know, 1991. And you're going to make a video game,
that was before
right?
most
so
of
the first
chat
thing
was
you do
born.
is you're going to pick like your engine, whether that be like a console or whatever, and you're going to pick your engine here, and you know, we're going to call it engine. Look at that big old text, and I'm going to make it bigger here.
Yeah, make it nice and big.
That's not big enough.
Big-ish.
Great.
Big.
You got your engine. You got, you know, you're going to make some characters, some behavior. And then you're going to make some levels, and stuff like that. You're gonna, like, a game is a bunch of different parts, right? It's like levels, characters, behavior, enemies, stages, systems. You've got a bunch of parts into game design, maybe equipment, maybe items. It could be a bunch of various things. And a game is all of these different parts, right? And so we're just going to oversimplify it down to all of these different parts here. And again, this might be, you know, level art.
Talking with the size.
It might be level design.
Ooh, character design.
And I'm oversimplifying here, but there's going to be a bunch of different parts. Characters, system design. Actually, let's do, before we do system design, let's say...
Yeah, the nipple shading, very important.
Behaviors.
The bald spot on the character's head.
Enemy, AI, blah, blah, blah.
Localization.
Well, let's do some systems design.
There's an inaccurate.
And then maybe we do some, like, progression. And some menus and things like that. There you go. You got a video game. You worked on all these, right? And all of these are done by different people. Back in the day, maybe a team of like 8 or 10 could put it all together.
And now it's like 10,000 people.
If you
You're
want to
right.
go something big, like, I don't know, God of War Ragnarok, it gets a lot nuttier, right? And so all of these might have different employees working on different parts and things like that. Now, again, let's say it's 1991, and you've made a cool new game for the Super Nintendo called Street Fighter 2. You did it. You made Street Fighter 2. You released the game to the world. People are Hadoukening. It takes the world by storm. Good job. You made a video game. That's great, right? Well, the challenge here is like, cool, you've made a video game. What happens next? Well, your game sells millions, and what happens immediately? Everyone goes, I want some of that money. I'm going to do that too.
Okay, copycats.
Another fighting game. And for those of you that weren't around,
I'm pretty sure Street Fighter came out before Tekken, right? Am I crazy? Because it was like 1991, and I think Tekken came out in 1992 or 3, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so like, is it copying? kind of, but not really.
In like the 1990s.
Tekken was 94. Yeah, it was
you ended up
somewhere
with
around
stuff
there.
like this. And this is just an article titled 15 90s Street Fighter 2 ripoffs. Yes, 15. And there were more than 15,
Wow.
right? We got some body blows and some power moves and fighting spirits. Clearly inspired by fighting games. And some of you might be thinking,
SF1 was 1987, Tekken was 1994. What? It was made in 87? Oh shit. I thought it was way like closer together. That's crazy.
well, that's terrible. It's actually not. It's okay, right? Being inspired by another game is totally fine. As long as, and this is the important part, when you're making your own game called Power Spirit, you have to do all this work still. You got to pick your engine, do your level art, do your level design, do your characters. You might go,
Two
my
was
character's
99
name
one.
is
Oh, okay. So that's why he threw it out.
Jen, and they shoot Badookins. You know, it might not be the most imaginative.
They shoot Badookins. my Street Fighter is gonna be called Street Piss, and I'm gonna make Padookin. Pisdookin.
But you still had to kind of do the work yourself. And
It's my
the reason that's
special
okay
move.
is because
Shit.
innovation can happen
Pisookin.
if you're like willing to do it, right? Because something that does matter is
I'm Badookin here, Badusi.
all that matters is
You're
the end
bussy.
game is good. If the end game is good, that is what consumers care about, right? And there was one clone from this era that, you know, really stood out. Mortal Kombat, right?
Mortal Kombat
now,
was
could
a
you debate that
copy?
it had differences, but it was clearly inspired by Street Fighter. But they took their own approach. They added their own hook.
Oh, they had their own way of making the characters, though. This is all real life action, and they took it frame by frame of like actual actors and stuff. Yeah, adult Street Fighter, and it had more violence in it and everything, and that's why people freaked out when it was first like made. Yeah.
You know, fatalities and killing and stuff like that.
Yeah, early MKs were fucking crazy.
Great, right? Mortal Kombat is a fun game, inspired a series. It was good. Should we be mad that Mortal Kombat copied Street Fighter?
No.
Obviously not. Obviously not, right? Like, that's a good thing. Totally fine. You know, I know there's this game called League of Legends that was inspired by, you know, Dota. So
it is crazy to me how many people were like freaking out over League and Dota being a thing, and how Dota and Blizzard were like, not Dota and Blizzard, Steam, fucking Valve and Blizzard were suing each other, and Valve came out on top, and that's why Dota 2 is a thing. But ultimately, League of Legends is almost like a fucking derivative. Ashe is Drow. Blitzcrank is Pudge. Like, it is a derivative, but it's slightly different, so like, who cares? I never got that impression. It's just a dumbed down Dota game.
So it happens, right? This is happening all the time.
Yeah, Dota was a Warcraft free map, exactly.
All the time is that someone releases a game, other people are like, that game was popular, I want the money.
No, Dota copied League. No, League copied Dota.
What matters is if you make a quality version,
legally
distinct
Dota.
Right? What matters is you did the work and you built the game. Now,
yeah, it's people are acting like Palworld literally ripped off of like Nintendo's engine and made it a game. It's not how it works, man.
Second
it took
part
them 2
here
years to
is
make the game.
Building a game is a lot of work. It's continued to be a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Should you have to do this every time you make a new game? Because, man, imagine, like, you just shipped God of War, you've got all this stuff, and now you have to start over?
Sucks.
That sounds terrible. There are times where you can take shortcuts, and shortcuts are good. Let's talk about this game. I think this is a great game. Ocarina of Time, right? Ocarina of Time, such a good game. We got to play it. It was good. Life is good. No problem. Now, they just finished Ocarina of Time. What do? Do they start over, brand new engine? No, of course not. Instead, what they do is they take that engine, they rearrange some pieces. If we go back to our little diagram, maybe we get some new levels, you know, some new level art, but we keep the...
Yeah, but then if you dedicated so much time, for example, I can cite a really great example here. Baldur's Gate 3 was actually the system and the engine in a lot of ways was not copied, but brought forward through Divinity Original Sin 2. If you played that game and then you play Baldur's Gate 3, it's like, you're like, damn, it looks like a juiced up version of Divinity Original Sin. The story isn't different. The story is different. The combat and animations are different, but the essence and the skeleton of the form of it is completely the same. Palworld was made by a video game company that admitted they literally did not know how to make a video game before they made Palworld. Yeah, exactly. And League people, League hired a bunch of devs and they formed their own company, Riot, back in 2009 or 2010. They came from Dota, man, and wow. It's so stupid.
We keep some of the behaviors, maybe some new systems design, a new progression, keep the same menu, keep the same engine. You know, we shortcutted a lot of the work.
Because otherwise you're making a new game every time. It sucks.
Because we get Majora's Mask. Sweet. We get another game. That's great. Game devs should be taking these shortcuts, right? So that they can make more games to the products and make really cool games. And again, as long as the game is good, no problem. No problem. Elden Ring. Elden Ring's another great example of this, right?
Elden Ring.
Did Elden Ring get started from scratch? No, of course not. Because they had a lot of work and learnings from Bloodborne. And they had a lot of work and learnings from Dark Souls, right? Everything is sort of a level up, learning, things like that. It's also why you often see a lot of game devs kind of make the same games over and over, like the same type, is because they have all their learnings. They don't have to start this process over.
Elden Ring polished up decades of systems. That's another thing. I don't think I would have enjoyed Elden Ring if it had all the problems that it had the company would have brought over with Dark Souls 1 and 2. I genuinely don't think I would have. Elden Ring had a lot of things that annoyed me and stuff, but it was not to the point where I watched someone play Dark Souls and I was like, damn, I'm so glad that they learned from it. This one was rough? Yeah, but people loved that game, and that's totally valid, but I'm just saying it is very, 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 very polished. You say DS103 is bad? No, I'm saying they learned from it. It's like saying Warcraft 3 and Warcraft Frozen Throne and Tides of War is bad. It's not. It's just that, like, things that they took from World of Warcraft and inspired those things to make it into an MMO, it became more polished. They're two different games, don't get me wrong, but they did take a lot of assets from Warcraft to put into the game. Yo, CMDR, thank you for the Prime. Thank you. Warcraft is way better than WoW. No, it's not. Shut up. I like them both equally. They're both amazing games. They're two different games. I'm saying they took a lot of things to save and cut corners, because otherwise we wouldn't have Warcraft. Hello, Kitsune. What's up? Yeah.
Every single time, right? Having some of those shortcuts to help speed up game development, that's a good thing, right? Imagine trying to be, trying to jump into a different space. That's hard, right? So anything you can do to speed this up, this is a good thing. Also, for those who don't know, I'm the TFT lead designer, and there was this game called League of Legends, and we took the...
there was a game... Dota Auto Chess? I played the shit out of that, man. I played the shit out of it, and then TFT blew up and Dota Chess died. It was so sad. But, Dota Auto Chess was goated. Dude, it was awesome. I loved it. But then it died because of them making, what is it called? The stupid... What's the Dota TFT called? I tried that. It was so fucking lame. Yeah. But anyway, basically, Dota Auto Chess was formed into TFT by Riot, and they just made it more, like, understandable and easier to access. Yeah, it was easier to understand. It was more fluid. But they took all the assets from League and just put it into the game. That's how you make good games. It's kind of a derivative of Leech and TD, I feel like. A little bit. I feel like a lot of influences came together to make it possible. I prefer Dota auto chess over TFT because no items. Yeah, I think item building is a bit much, in my opinion. Items make too much of a fucking difference. Like, they can make and break a build in TFT, but I guess that's the point. That's what they wanted, so I don't know. How strong was the characters from other Blizzard's franchises in the card game? Yeah, so they already had. So, fun fact, the TCG art from the classic decks, in classic, there's a classic deck, and a lot of the art that they had available from the card game, the physical one, they brought into Hearthstone to save time. In later expansions, they had to actually make new art, but it saved a lot of time for them personally to focus on the game. Yeah.
The engine, we took a couple shortcuts because we had some of the character designs done and things like that. And guess what? We made Teamfight Tactics.
Yeah, I was sad when it died too.
Cool.
Man.
All of this is a good thing, right? Because all
Blizzard
that matters
sucks.
at the end of the day is players are looking for good games, and you got to make good games. Development can be hard, and anything you can do to speed up that process to get more good games out there, usually a good thing. But here's where it gets a little tricky.
Okay.
There's been this concept because, again, what matters in the industry for a lot of devs, not all, but a lot, is you go where the money is, right? The second anything is popular, guess what? There are going to be clones, there are going to be copies, like we talked about with the Street Fighter. And again, as long as you're making your own, totally fine. I get it. There's been a common strategy called reskins. A very common thing is like someone...
Mobile games, man. I still don't get how mobile games get away with the shit they do. There's literally a game that looks just slightly different from League, and people play that and they don't get sued. It's insane to me. And then people cry about fucking Palworld having like an Eevee that looks a little bit too much like an Eevee, man. Blows my mind.
Will, especially as things have gotten
Mobile Legends, yeah,
to
like what the
engines,
fuck?
where you release a game,
one.
say on mobile, like maybe you have a hero collector on mobile. You release it, it doesn't do well. You take it, you keep all the same stuff, the progression, the enemy AI, the behaviors, the menus, the engine, the level art, and like maybe you change a character, and that's it. And then you release it again, and you see if that does well. And you do this over and over and over in the mobile space. It's very common.
Yep.
To see if you can be...
But does anyone actually know why? I don't know. I think it's something to do with, like, you know... like, essentially, I believe it's because they can't be sued because it's, like, a mobile game and most of them are made in China. And China's legal system is a bit fucky-wucky in terms of, like, outsider interference and stuff like that. Yeah. Hold on.
Be the one to get players' eyes and get that money. Because again, it circumvents
China does not recognize any outside IP.
To do that.
That's
and
crazy.
It's a very common thing. How common is it? Well, if you go to Fiverr, I could pay $55 for somebody to reskin a game for me.
$55?
It's a little gross. It's a little gross if that's all the
gross.
effort you're willing to put
fuck?
in. But at the end of the day, what does matter is the end product, right? And so you're probably not going to get a high quality end product with a $55 reskin, but there are shortcuts. Now, this is kind of a quick history lesson, so you might be going, what does all of this have to do with Palworld?
Okay. Hit me.
Now, everything from this point on is my speculation, okay? As a game developer, as someone who's been doing this for a while, I'm just going off what I see and what I understand and how games are made. And I'm going to show you something. Palworld's previous game was called Craftopia. And I don't know about you guys, but this is the start of Craftopia. And I'm going to make this big for you.
All right, hit me with it.
And this is how the game starts. You walk up these stairs.
All right. I'm listening.
Long stairs. No big deal. And when you reach the top of the stairs, this happens. Okay, what? I don't know why this went back. Here we go. This happens. You turn, you look at the character, You look at a vista.
Looks like Genshin.
The title appears.
Looks like Genshin.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
That's pretty similar. And then look.
Look, Breath of the Wild. Yeah. Oh,
cool.
Shit.
Now, the reason I bring this up.
Did they get sued for this? Nope.
Again, if we go back to clones and you're doing all the work yourself, that makes sense. And if I said, hey, Mort, go make a game and copy Breath of the Wild, but you're doing it from scratch. To get that exact same vista, that exact same layout, that's actually pretty hard to do from scratch. But if you have the source and you're reskinning, it's pretty damn easy. And what I'll say is, that looked pretty damn easy.
It did.
So,
sure. But did they get sued? No, they did not.
That's a little gross, you know? And so the fact that they can basically go, hey, thank you, you know, Nintendo or whoever for this. This is mine now. And I'm going to make some stuff on top of it. That's a little weird. That's a little weird. But here's the important thing. What I will say is, even if they did that, right? Let's say I'm right for a second. And they're like,
sure.
Yoink, this is mine now. The stuff they did on top of it is really good.
But my problem is, okay, I guess this is an unfair comparison, but if you take the enemy AI and behaviors and stuff, they also spliced in a lot of arc. Like, I feel like it's a bit different. Didn't Riot basically just was this with League? No, because they took the idea of the archetype of a MOBA and then they made characters that are kind of similar, but also the mechanics of the game are completely different. Like, for example, Drow and Ashe, Drow being from Dota and League being Ashe, right? They're both girls with white hair, have a cloak, and they have frost arrows, right? But their mechanics are different. Like, she has that W that goes out, right? It's even on the same keybind, if I remember correctly, actually. One of them is a silence, and the other one is a fucking AoE cone slow that has, like, a volley, right? You can't really sue them for that. Like, yes, it's the same idea, but it's not. And, like, Blitzcrank's hook, is that, like, really copyrightable? No, not really. Like, it's not the same. Like, you can't copyright stuff like that. They also made it similar, but not the same. Yes, exactly. What other comparison could I make that's, like, really, really similar? White Ranger cloaks and Sylvanas from Warcraft 3. Well, they had to make it legally distinct from Warcraft 3. That's why they changed all of the names from Sylvanas to, like, Wind Ranger is Illyria Wind Ranger, I think, right? Illyria? Is that her name? Well, whatever. Anyway, they had to change all the names because it had to be legally distinct. Yeah, it's so hard to, like, make an argument for either way. Very difficult. Illyria, that was it. Illyria.
Really good, right? A game where you can run around and pick up a Firefox and shoot it as a flamethrower. That's fun.
Cute.
The fact that you can take your pals and, like, chop them up and capture humans and Pokeballs. It's fun. Palworld is a good game.
Actually, you're called Pal Spheres, not Pokeballs.
The end result is a great game. It is. It's good. So if anyone's like, oh, is Palworld a bad game? No.
No, it's
really
fun.
good. All the work they did in this section
Excellent.
here, thumbs up. Just grade A, awesome work. All I'm saying is this part here,
what's up? Welcome.
pretty sketch. And here's the crazy thing. Let's say again, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I
think the enemy AI and the behaviors, they're not similar. I think character level design, probably, like, a little bit ripped. The engine isn't ripped because it was made in Unreal. Like, I know it's kind of a hard, tough sell. Excuse me, in terms of, like, copyright infringement. I don't know. I'd be really impressed if Nintendo could sue them, but then again, they have a lot of money, so I don't know.
don't know. But let's say I'm right. What happens is we see Palworld's success. And again, game devs go where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
This will become the action. This will become the norm. So this will become, hey, you know what the easiest way to make games is? It's don't do all this. It's find something else.
Hold on, this is a really good comment. The only reason that Blizzard even tried to sue was because the characters were just Warcraft 3 characters. Yeah, like Sylvanas was in the game, and it was running on the Warcraft engine. But Valve changed it all, so it wasn't Blizzard's IP anymore. That's why Dota 2 exists. Yes, exactly. They made it run on their own engine. They made it the same. Like, there's still 3 lanes. There's a jungle. There's wards. But they made it in their own engine. They changed the characters. They changed the designs. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, and the styles were also changed around. The voice acting isn't copied. Like, they made new voice lines and everything. So they did that, and then they got away with it because it's essentially a new game. Again, they did take... The engine is an Unreal Engine. Like, they can't really go for that. Like, this design is different, and... Yeah. Rip the Skeleton King. Yeah, Skeleton King was, what's his name? Not Leorg. Why did I say that? I don't know. Well, the long story short, it was, oh, it was Leorg? Was it Arthas? No, Arthas is, I'm spacing out. Was it Arthas? Who was Arthas? Arthas is Lich? No, Lich is KT. Abaddon is Arthas. Ah, there we go. Yes, there we go. Abaddon is Arthas. Yeah, all the DKs. Lich is KT. Kel'Thuzad. Omni Knight is also Arthas. It's complicated. Yeah, it's again, we're getting way into the weeds. I could nerd out about fucking Dota and Warcraft and all day, but they made it very different, so it's like they couldn't really be sued at that point. Yeah.
Take its section and add a little on top. And that's what we're going to get a lot of. And I know there's a certain bald streamer that like had some really strong feelings about it. But I also know this bald streamer really didn't like back in the day where there was a $25 horse. And that $25 horse kind of snowballed into some pretty interesting parts of our industry, didn't it? So,
well, I totally agree, but at the same time, AI is the result of capitalism. I don't know what to say. The horse is a part of the capitalistic system of consumer demand and WoW token and the Oblivion horse armor. Like, that's all a result of like wanting money squeezed out of people. AI saves you time. You have to fight it like in another way. You can't really blame them. You're shooting the messenger at this point. Asvin, I know, like, haha, he made fun of like the horses and stuff, like the fucking glitter horses, but when his skin costs more than the game itself, yeah, like Gamba and stuff.
So I'm just saying, be really careful when you're like, this is what I want, because the snowball might not.
But it's not what he wants. That's what everyone wants. Everyone's playing the game. That's the problem. Everyone loves Palworld. The people who are like the dads coming home and they're like, hey, did you hear about the new game? Ah, shit, I gotta take care of my kids. Maybe I'll fucking look at it after I change the diaper. They don't have time to look at Twitter and see what people are complaining about. They don't fucking care. If he launches the game and plays it within 2 hours and he's like, oh, you know what? That was really fun. Now I gotta go back to bed and go back to work after 8 hours and go launch the game on Palworld and fucking play it all over again because I have no life and I have to work an 8 to 5. It doesn't matter. He doesn't look at Twitter. Like, it's so crazy to me that people like, oh no, I don't want this to be the standard. Neither do I, but it's happening because we are consumers. Consume, devour, hate it.
Be the best thing. If we're going to reward people of just going, yoink, I don't know. That scares me.
That's not, I'm gonna stop pausing. Hold on, I'm getting irritated. But like, again, this guy is making valid points, but at the same time, it's not really, yeah, it's not really like anyone's fault. We're human. It's sad. We'd have to start making laws that condition video game developers not to do this.
The crap out of me. That scares the crap out of me. So that's it. And the thing is, I know there's one other component to this, which everyone's going to talk about, which is AI, right? Like using AI to cheat some of this.
Big piss.
And the reality is AI is a
piss.
tool. AI is a tool.
Yo, thank you for the 2 months with the copies that are already out there. Well, it's not even that. They innovated a lot on top of the game. It's not like every new studio has millions to spend on development either. Yeah, that's also a really valid point. And again, the whole AI thing with how Palworld is, nobody's questioning that because there's no proof of it yet, and people were disproving it already. Don't ask questions, consume product, get excited for next product. Guys, it's really rough to try and convince a dad who works a 9 to 5 or like a girl who has like 5 kids to like not consume media and make them question like the source and the ethics and source and the morality of said like video game or movie. Like, they don't care, they just consume it, and if it's good, they'll keep consuming it. They'll become fans, they'll want more, they'll want a sequel. Money talks. Yeah, I love to consume, but it's like, you can't really do anything about it. I totally understand he said he's scared and like AI, this, that, but still. Like, if you get down to the nitty gritty, we're just all fucking pay wallets. We're all wallets that these people want to like get their money out of. You can only think of so many details of the full play. Yeah, I mean, like, the average Joe's not gonna fucking go on Twitter and look at Palworld and be like, oh my gosh, wow, this artist is crying about how Palworld ripped off Pokemon. No, they're just gonna fucking play the game. Vote with your wallet.
Tool that can be used.
But even then, that doesn't really do much. We'd have to do, like, a mass exodus, like a civil war on gaming. Locking an NG behind a paywall seems way worse than a new game using AI. We don't even know if the AI is a thing. There's no proof of it. That's the problem.
Used
poorly, my God.
And it can be used well. You know, there are going to be ways to do it right, ways to do it wrong. But really, all of it comes back to, if you take somebody else's work, that's where it gets a little gross, right? Because the people who did that work are incentivized to do that work for the rewards. If there are no longer rewards, you're not really incentivized.
What if you do a shitty job like Game Freak and Nintendo and you just do the same thing over and over and you don't innovate and you don't try to take ideas from other people? World of Warcraft took ideas from fucking EverQuest, for God's sake. They said, I don't hate EverQuest, but they said, we don't like how EverQuest system works where you die and you drop everything on the ground for people to pick up. So we're just gonna make a World of Warcraft which is slightly easier to play than this godforsaken fucking game. And now EverQuest is like considered a boomer game that nobody plays because it's too much, like, too time consuming. Like, yeah, competition is good, exactly.
Incentivized to do this anymore. And
holy shit, I need to piss so bad.
There's a lot less interesting games in the future. So that's kind of my quick spiel. But yeah, as far as evidence goes, there are things like this that really bother me here. Noise blast here for a second, but bear with me.
What?
Okay. Let me rewind a second. Yeah. Of course it's gone. Anyway, the sound when you find a new area is basically the same sound as you find a new area here. It's like the exact same sound. And again,
no, it's
stuff
not,
like that.
Man, it's inspired, but it's not this. Okay, we're reaching. We're getting into semantics. I get it though. I understand his viewpoint.
Really scary. So
first of all, the thing is this one, it sounds different, but we're getting into semantics.
So there you go. I don't know, making games cool, inspired by other games cool, but in my opinion,
yeah, Pokemon hasn't had real competition. Nope.
That's the important part to me. And TLDR, Palworld's a pretty good game, but I don't know, man. So there you go. Hold
on, I'm like literally busting. I'm busting, chat. I'm about to blow. I'm literally gonna run to the bathroom. Hold on. I don't hear anyone ranting about the soul likes and other plagiarism, even when some games use exactly the same art style. Sometimes you see artwork of a soul like and you can't tell the difference from a software game. Again, the fishy thing about it is that it is kind of like Genshin, but it's not. It looks very artificial, and I think that's what the argument is. Bye, Prophetic! Wait! No, goodbye! Bye-bye. Why innovate when there's no competition? Yeah, that's also a very valid point, in my opinion. What's happening to the Panama Canal in that bottom thumbnail? Your mom's blocking it, that's what's happening. Mommy! Piss, piss, piss. Shit! Piss, 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 piss. Fuck, 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 fuck. Fucking shit on calm. Piss myself. Fuck, 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 fuck. Piss, fuck, piss, 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 fuck, fuck, piss, fuck, piss, fuck, piss, 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 fuck, piss.